Come into our house of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. Come in where we welcome the certain and the seeking, the long-timers and the newcomers, those who wave and those who receive the waves. All of you can find a home here at Throop, where we go love the world from the heart of Pasadena and from the heart of our homes. Welcome to our friends joining us on live stream this morning. This December, we are celebrating the gift of being truly present to ourselves, to those we love, to our earth, and to what we name as sacred. And today we'll be thinking about ways we can also be peacemakers in this world of ours. If you're new to Throop, we love to stay in touch. You can fill out an info card that you'll see in the pew back in front of you, and you can hand that in a little later in the worship service. And each one of us is a light in the world, and the flame from our chalice symbolizes and reflects that light.
Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with our flame from our candles of hope and witness.
Right here and right now, we open our senses. Right here and right now, we open our senses to see and perceive the gifts we've been given. To see and perceive the gifts we've been given. To know and believe that what we must do. To know and believe that what we must do is open our hearts to let all gifts flow through. Is open our hearts to let all gifts flow through.
We light a second candle to honor the people and ancestors whose lands we now occupy. The land under and around Throop is the unceded land of the Gabrielino Tongva Band of Mission Indian people. May this knowledge and awareness lead us into dismantling systems of supremacy and oppressions. We light a third candle symbolizing our watershed, the Arroyo Seco. May their waters continue to nourish life in our communities. We take a moment of silence, holding all of these in our hearts.
And holding in our hearts a sense of peace this holiday season, our opening hymn is Let This Be a House of Peace. It's number 1054 in the teal hymnal. And I invite you all to rise and sing out as your body and spirits allow, number 1054.
Let this be a house.
You go, Malcolm.
Would you turn to your neighbor and greet them this morning?
Welcome, neighbor Malcolm. This time of year, it is so easy to fall into the mode of busy. And this month in worship, I'm offering you a gentle reminder to rest. You deserve it. And when we rest, we give ourselves some respite from a demanding pace that all too often can leave us with very little time to nurture a sense of peace in ourselves. This week, Terry has been reminding me of the gifts of a snail and to go at a snail's pace. And you're going to hear a little bit more from that next week from our friend Terry. And as we prepare ourselves to offer our Throop promise to our planet, which is our shared prayer and commitment to our earth, let's move into a more peaceful rhythm together. And before we recite our promise to our planet, I have 4 questions for you with space in between for you to breathe, to focus intentionally on your own thoughts and memories. And you might close your eyes for these questions if that feels right for you. And take a gentle breath in and exhale. Who was a gift of presence to you this week? And take a gentle breath in, and on the exhale, think to yourself, how did you offer the gift of your presence in the past week? And taking a breath in, and on the exhale, were you able to feel the presence of God, or what you name as sacred, in the last week? And then our last inhale together here. And on the exhale, how did you connect with gifts of our earth in the last week? And holding those gifts of presence in your heart and mind, we turn to our Throop promise to our planet. As members of the family of living beings on earth, we are guided by Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, with hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured by its beauty, and minds ruminating on ways to its sacred and scarce resources. We promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself.
Responsive reading is this holiday season by Ade Akrab. The congregational response is, open our hearts and let our gifts flow through.
Open our hearts and let our gifts flow through.
Let this holiday season be a time for engaging heart to heart. For those who, like the innkeeper, turned us away. For holidays that did not live up to our expectations. For ghosts of Christmas past that haunt us. For those who gave us gifts but never their presence. Open our hearts and let our gifts flow through. For gifts we yearned for but did not receive. For things we received but never wanted. For those who offered us cheer when we needed comfort. for those who offered us love that we could not accept. Open our hearts and let our gifts flow through. For those we rejected, offering no room in our homes or hearts. For ourselves, who could not give through fear. For the times we saw a star in the east, but failed to follow it. For times we followed the star, but it did not lead where we hoped. Open our hearts and let our gifts flow through. For miracles gone unnoticed, for wise people whose gifts we rejected. All these we remember, we forgive, we love. In doing so, may we be granted an abiding peace. Open our hearts and let our gifts flow through.
A highlight of us being in community together is when we welcome people into the church. And an unavoidable part of us being together is our needing to say goodbye when someone dear to us moves away. We have been so blessed for the past many years by the presence of Marissa Morrison. Marissa, in your time here at Throop, you have changed us. You've made us better. You came into Throop a little bit tentatively. It was through the garden, and I can remember a few Sundays early on when I would see you kind of poking your head around that door in the back, wondering what in the world it was we were doing in here. You came in tentatively, but you gave us all, and you gave this church a chance. You welcomed us into your life. Marissa, you have touched our hearts in so many ways. You've touched our hearts through your soaring voice when you have sung in worship. You've challenged us when you've offered sermons and worship. I'll probably never think about the concept of secrets exactly the same way again after that sermon you wrote. And you've helped to change the church by creating structures that support more visibility and more transparency. And you help create a more collaborative and supportive community here through your work on the board and helping to kind of untangle and strengthen our governance structures. But maybe most important, you've shared your wisdom and your wry humor, your friendship with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. And really, I just want to thank all of you. I came in here with very low expectations, thinking that I would never set foot in a church again, because that wasn't really my kind of thing. And here I found wonderful people who have become my friends, my acquaintances, just people I really struggled to imagine my life without. I also found so much opportunity here, ways to stretch myself, ways to live into my values through climate justice, racial justice, housing justice, and digging around in the dirt extra and realizing that that could be part of my spirituality. I am forever changed because of this building and all of the people in it, and I am so, so thankful for all of you. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for being here potentially for the past 7 years, ever since I started showing up in the garden.
Marissa, just as the congregation offered you blessings on your way in when you became a member, now we offer our blessings to you as your path carries you forward. But also, please know that you always have a home here at Throop, and we will greet you with arms open wide. And for our litany of blessings, the congregation says, we offer our blessings to you. And as you say those, I just really invite you to put all your energy and focus and love onto Marissa. And so let's practice that, putting all that energy and love, sending it up to Marissa as we say together, we offer our blessings to you. Your voice joined ours in so many ways. May you find a kind and caring community in your new location. We shared our spiritual journeys, and may you continue to do the work that only you can to help create lives of meaning and purpose with those you come across.
We offer our blessings to you.
You helped create multiple ways for people here at Throop to connect and spark lasting friendships. May you create these opportunities in your new home.
We offer our blessings to you.
And your caring and compassionate and wise energy and spirit infuse the culture here. There will always be a part of you here at Throop. You have seeped into these 100-year-old walls. You changed us, and may you continue to transform others and the world.
We offer our blessings to you.
So many blessings. And as a reminder of the gifts that have been shared here over the last 7 years, we offer you a gift of dried herbs and a sachet from Throop Learning Garden. We thought that would be easy enough to get into the moving truck, wouldn't weigh too much. And there's also an extra treat in there for you from Paula and the board. We love you. And at Throop, our children have opportunities to create those same types of connections and friendships of inspiration and love. We thank today Joy and Faith for being with our children's program, and we sing them into that program. The words are in your order of worship.
For you shall go out in joy. For you shall go out in joy and come back in peace. And come back in peace. For you shall go out in joy. For you shall go out in joy and come back in peace. And come back in peace. Blessed be.
Our morning pondering is Wage Peace by Judith Hill. Wage peace with your breath. Breathe in firemen and rubble. Breathe out whole buildings and flocks of red-winged blackbirds. Breathe in terrorists. Breathe out sleeping children and freshly mown fields. Breathe in confusion and breathe out maple trees. Breathe in the fallen and breathe out lifelong friendships intact. Wage peace with your listening, hearing sirens, pray loud. Remember your tools: flower seeds, clothespins, clean rivers. Make soup, play music, memorize the words thank you in 3 different languages, learn to knit and make a hat. Think of chaos as dancing raspberries. Imagine grief as the outbreath of beauty or the gesture of fish. Swim for the other side. Wage peace. Never has the world seemed so fresh and so precious. Have a cup of tea and rejoice as if armistice has already arrived. Celebrate this day. Every single one of you in some way shapes the present and the future of this, our shared church home. And the way we shape this place is by giving freely of our time and our talent and our treasure, and that shows up in so many different ways. Now you have an opportunity to make a financial gift to our beloved church. You can give online. The ways to do that are in the order of worship. You may offer a gift here in the room. If you're a first-time visitor, please let the offering plate pass you by. The morning offering will now be gratefully received.
The lamp is burning low upon my tabletop. The snow is softly falling. The air is still in the silence of my room. I hear your voice softly calling. If I could only have you near to breathe a sigh or two, I would be happy just to hold the hands I love on this winter night with you. The smoke is rising in the shadows overhead. My glass is almost empty. I read again between the lines upon each page the words of love you sent me. If I could know within my heart that you were lonely too, I would be happy just to hold the hands I love on this winter's night with you. The fire is dying now, my lamp is growing dim. The shades of night are lifting. The morning light steals across my window pane, where webs of snow are drifting. If I could only have you near to breathe a sigh or two, I would be happy just to hold the hands I love on this winter's night with you. And to be once again with you.
In a spirit of gratitude, we lift up those supporting today's worship service. We start with live stream, which was a true team effort this morning. It started with Taryn, then Rachel came in, and then Steve swooped in at the last minute, and there he is now. Thank you. I'd like to thank Cynthia for being our greeter and our usher, Dave for serving as the morning lay reader. I'd like to thank Joy and Faith for being with the children's program, Tom for coming in and making coffee for the coffee hour, which is after service through the back doors, Fillery, always for your administrative support, Malcolm and choir. What a lovely a cappella piece of music today. Nicely done. Marissa, for all that you have been to this congregation. Thank you. And yesterday we had a group of 15 people led by Paula and Michael, who spent Saturday morning out in our beloved garden, tending and pruning and giving plants more room to thrive and shine. Thank you so much for your leadership and for all of those who came in and played in the dirt yesterday. As we pause in recognition for all the ways we support our Throop community life, I invite you to share the words of gratitude that are in the order of worship. With gratitude for the ministries of the church that hold us and embolden us to love the world, we bless our offering and the many gifts that we share. Our centering hymn this morning is found in the Teal hymnal, number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. And as we sing this together, I invite you on each of those lines and verses to hold in your heart and in your mind what is giving you a sense of peace and what is giving you a sense of love. And continuing with that theme of peacefulness and love, I offer you a version of a body prayer from Julian of Norwich. So I invite you to put your hands at your waist with your palms cupped upward. And as you take a breath in, await the peace of God's presence just as it is in the moment. And breathe out a sense of love. Then to gently reach up with your hands open. And breathe in and allow the presence of God, or what you name as sacred, to be present. And to breathe out a sense of love. And to put your hands at your heart, cupped toward your body. And breathe in, accepting the gifts that come your way today. And breathe out a sense of love. And then hands outstretched with palms up toward the sky, ready to be responsive. We breathe in attending to what we are called to do in this world, and breathing out a sense of love. And we'll do that together one more time. With hands at your waist, cupped up to receive, we breathe in, awaiting the presence of God. And we breathe out a sense of love. And reaching our hands up, we breathe in, allowing the presence of God and what we know as sacred to arrive. And we breathe out a sense of love. And with hands at our hearts, we breathe in, accepting the gifts that are present in our lives today. We breathe out a sense of love. And with hands outstretched in front of us, we breathe in, attend to what you are called to do in this world, to heal, to bring peace. And we breathe out a sense of love. And for all that is our life, we give our thanks and praise. Amen. And today's musical reflection, we're inviting you all to follow along and sing with Malcolm and choir. It's number 1032 in the Teal hymnal. It's a prayer for peace, Duna Naish.
Duna Naish, Besalam, Duna Naish, Be'aman, Duna non-siege, Alam, Dauna namut, Besalam, Dauna naish, Besalam, Dauna naish, Be'aman, Dauna non-siege, Alam, Dauna namut, Besalam, Dauna namut, Besalam.
The light that comes in through these windows, there is nothing else like it. Gentle here in the morning, ablaze by mid-afternoon, and a steady, warm glow by the time the sun sets. For over 100 years, people have found their way into this sanctuary, They have come with their hearts struggling with all the turmoils of the world, and their hearts struggling with all the turmoil that they feel in their own lives. The light from our windows has offered solace to troubled souls. Our sanctuary was completed in November of 1921. And when it was completed, we had these windows over here on the north aisle. But these were still to come. The windows on our south aisle were created by stained glass artist Charles Connick, and they were not installed until 1941. And so this congregation must have raised money for these windows all through the Great Depression and while watching the war against fascism escalate in Europe. I imagine our Universalist ancestors sitting in these pews at that time, their own hearts heavy and wondering whether or not joining in that war was the right and faithful thing to do. The windows here on the south aisle, most of them, there's one that doesn't match the rest. I'll let you gaze on them and see if you can identify the one I mean. But the other windows depict the Beatitudes of Jesus. These statements were so important to our religious ancestors that they spent years raising thousands upon thousands of dollars so that churchgoers could be soothed and inspired by the messages contained in these windows. The Beatitudes were given as part of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, and that sermon was one of Jesus' very first major public teachings. And in it, he reinterpreted the Ten Commandments, focusing on the importance of our own inner motivations to live a good and faithful and ethical life. It was what was going on in here. And when Jesus offered these blessings, they were offered to his followers during a time of war. These blessings were spoken to a people who were being broken underneath the weight of Roman occupation. During a time when a powerful emperor was taking away people's freedoms, levying ridiculously high taxes, jailing or executing anyone that was considered an enemy of the state or anyone not loyal to the emperor. His followers were among the poorest, the most tired, the most at risk. They were the ones who'd already lost so much. Imagine his Jewish siblings gathered around him, scared, unsure, yet desperately hoping and praying for something to change. "Blessed are you," they would have heard. The words perhaps surprising them, offering comfort, grace, a vision for a better world for themselves and their children, visions of a world in which they could truly thrive and flourish. The word beatitude comes from a Latin word that can more or less be translated and understood as the word blessed. And each beatitude does begin with that word, blessed are you. And the Beatitudes affirm a state of blessing that already exists for you. It is not a blessing that you have to search for, try to achieve, try to deserve, try to earn. You, my friend, are already blessed exactly as you are today. And the Beatitudes offer the promise and the possibility of living a life in which we can evolve and change, in which we can become more and more like those named as blessed. The Beatitudes offer up a moral invitation and a moral imperative. The window over here closest to the pulpit depicts the 7th and 8th Beatitude, and as I was looking at it this morning, I realized in a way I kind of have this window all to myself here. I don't know how easy it is for you all to see if you're in the pews, choir, first row. No, but some of you, yes. I mean, you have to really choose carefully where you sit in here sometimes, right? Depending on which window you want to be inspired by. But this window depicts the 7th Beatitude, which says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be children of God." And I'm not sure if you, I know you can't because you just told me you couldn't, but the image in this window is an image that shows Jesus on Palm Sunday, triumphantly riding into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey, and there are palm fronds in this window that symbolize the people awaiting him, his followers, and the hosannas that they were yelling and shouting and cheering as he came into Jerusalem, welcoming him as their leader and as their Savior. Jesus arrives in Roman-occupied Jerusalem not as a military conqueror. He arrives on the back of the humble donkey. He arrives in Jerusalem to speak truth to power, not as a conqueror, but as a servant to all, as a type of peacemaker, inviting others to follow in his path of peacemaking. Jim Wallace, Christian theologian and the founder and editor of Sojourners magazine, he wrote about this particular beatitude. He wrote, "Anyone can love peace, but Jesus didn't say, 'Blessed are the peace lovers.' He says peacemakers." He's referring to a life vocation, not a hobby on the sidelines of life. What does it mean for us to live into the presence and promise of peace? To become peacemakers in this time in the world that has left so many of us and has left me feeling sad and despondent and confused and sometimes overwhelmed with the enormity of it all. A time in the world where leaders being considered for cabinet positions are being chosen based on their professed loyalty. When we are rightly concerned about the safety and well-being of our transgender friends and family, of immigrants that we know and love, when access to reproductive health is at risk, and when the groaning of our earth becomes louder year by year, how do we live into the promise and the presence of being peacemakers when we are questioning whether or not we'll experience any kind of real peace over the next 4 years? Making peace is not the equivalent of avoiding conflicts, though I'm pretty good at that. Making peace is not the equivalent of just saying nothing, of ducking our heads and hiding underneath the covers until 2028. Although I will tell you that you have my permission to duck and hide only until January 20th of 2025. I do want you to get your rest and restore. Making peace, cultivating peace, It starts with who we are at our core as a people of faith, as Unitarian Universalist. We are a people who are rooted in love while we reach out for justice. Grounded in our ethic of love, that is at the center of our faith, and it's this foundation that helps us engage compassionately in conflicts, and it calls us to restore the broken world in which we find ourselves. And it's only through doing our part in restoring the brokenness that we experience, yes, in ourselves, that we experience, yes, sometimes in our relationships, and that brokenness that we know in our earth. It's only when we start to engage that we will begin to know a true and lasting sense of peace. By doing all we can, everything we can, to ensure the safety and well-being of our transgender and non-binary siblings, it is through that holy work that we'll know peace in our hearts. And by doing all that we can to ensure reproductive health care for those who need it, that holy and sacred work, it is through that engagement that we will know peace in our hearts. And by doing all we can to engage with and respond to the groaning of our earth, it is in that holy and sacred work that we will know peace in our hearts. It is an active peace, one that doesn't give up. And it's by doing all we can to create a more just, equitable, compassionate world right here on this earth, not waiting, because we are clearly needed, and blessings to those responding to that crisis. I share a poem by Cheryl Lowry. May our anger at the injustice of the world not be mollified by the anticipation of unwrapping espresso makers and Pandora charms. May our despair at politics of fear and hatred, may it not be drowned out by Christmas carols that sing only of joy and happiness. And may our belief in Christmas miracles not leave us resistant to calls of everyday kindness and care. May we hold tight to the discontent of the prophets this Christmas, and may we not find peace until love and justice are at hand. May the light and the messages in these windows continue to inspire you all, this generation of faithful Unitarian Universalist, into living lives of ever deepening love, justice, and peace. And we sing together, Nothing But Peace Is Enough for Me, number 167 in the Gray Hymnal. And I invite you all to rise and sing out as body and spirit allow.
Nothing but peace is enough for me. Nothing but peace is enough. Nothing but peace is enough. Nothing but peace is enough for me. Nothing but peace is enough for me. Nothing but peace is enough. Nothing but peace. Nothing but peace is enough for me. enough. Nothing but peace is enough. Nothing but peace is enough for me. Nothing but peace is enough for me. Nothing but peace is enough. Nothing but peace is enough. Nothing but peace is enough for me.
And gently take the hand or elbow of someone near you in the pews. Our chalice is extinguished, and we carry that light with us into the week. May it warm your heart in the days to come, and may you remember that through your actions, you and the world know a greater peace, a greater love, a greater compassion, and as we continue to work for justice for all. I love you all. Go out and love the world. Amen, and blessed be.